All right, good morning, everybody. What is up? It is Cowboy. It is 8:30 a.m. EST, and we're just getting started today. Bitcoin looking very strong. The Bitcoin looks like it wants to break out. The Bitcoin is going to make me rich. The Bitcoin is awesome. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. Yeah. So let's take a look at the chart, and I'm going to go out to the weekly to demonstrate something kind of cool. Actually, it's something that was cool last night. I don't know if it's cool anymore, right? Because things change. But as of last night, not anymore, but for a very short time last night, price was above its highest weekly close ever. Right now, it's come back down a little bit, but if you look here, the weekly close, the highest weekly close we'd ever seen, was at about, what is this here? 70. Let me erase all these lines. Let's make this cleaner, and let's stretch this out a bit. The highest weekly close was 71,300, and price last night pierced that and stayed above that for some time. So that's an interesting metric. It's not the main metric I'm looking at, but it's an important metric. And if this week closes with price above that, which it's right below it right now, it's right there. It's only 120 away. Then that's going to be significant, right? Weekly closes are very important. Everybody watches that chart, watches how the candles paint. So that's good. Now, what's really got me more bullish on Bitcoin has to do with the algos. And again, I'm not going to explain all this stuff. I mean, the Algo Factory private group understands. When they look at this screen, they understand to a certain degree what I'm looking at. But what I am saying is that this is very bullish on the algo side of things. So we might be in the midst of the breakout. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to break out today or tomorrow. It doesn't mean it won't pull back. We could see a pullback. But right now, just judging by the way the algos look, it looks like it's going to break out and continue up. So it would not surprise me to see price continue up and break this all-time high as soon as today. Could happen next week. It might even pull back before that happens. You might get a little bit of where all the moon boys decide to just really just put on all their longs right here, and the price comes back down to grab their stops and then goes up. Things like that happen all the time. But mostly what Bitcoin will do in the bull market is punish shorts. Okay. So, and what I mean by that is a lot of people will go ahead as price approaches this all-time high and looks like it's going to break. A lot of people will put their longs on. They'll go long right here, maybe right here, right above, and they'll have stop losses that are like down here, and then they'll have their targets way up here, and they'll expect to get massive returns, and maybe they're right. But what'll happen is price will, the market makers will see that people's stop losses are all sitting down here, and it'll be down here and here and here, wherever, but there will be concentrations of them. And we'll show you how to look at that data. That data is available to us. I'm going to show you right now how to look at that. But as price breaks and these longs get put on, and these stop losses and these liquidations is what they really are now visible on the futures charts, price will go back down to grab these and then go up. Very, very common, not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed in trading, but that's a very common thing. So how do we look at that data? There is a website, and it's called the Kingfisher.io, and I use it quite often. If you've been following this show, you know all about it. Atlas Crypto, yeah, it looks like a blue sky breakout. It does. It does look like we're about to see it. Very, very possible. I can tell you the algos are bullish as all hell. But let's go ahead and take a look at the Kingfisher just to see what those liquidations look like. So the Kingfisher.io, there's a link. There's an affiliate link in the description of this video. You're welcome to go check that out. I recommend getting a subscription and using all their data. There's so many things that can be used. I believe you can even trade right from this website. Very, very great website. They don't pay me anything to say that. I just really like their work. So if I do a refresh, I can see even now, most of the liquidations are sitting at a sliver at about 68,120. So 68,120, right? So right there, I can put a line at 68,120. I'm going to go to a little lower of a time frame here. Give me just a moment. And at 68,120, that's where price might dive down to. Let's see here, 68,120. Right about here. Price could easily dive down to grab liquidity. And that would make a lot of sense, right? we see this all the time in every market where price has a long consolidation. Price kind of goes sideways for a period of time, builds a range that's relatively definable. I'd say it looks like this. And then when that happens, a lot of people, as price was going back and forth, a lot of people bought and sold at these levels. And these pivots are at the top and the bottom of the range. You have your top pivots here, one here, one here. So it's kind of roughly in this area. And then you have your bottom pivots, obviously on the bottom, here, 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 there. That's why I build the range as you see it, right? And those pivots create a lot of sort of areas where a lot of action happened, a lot of price action was created. And because of that, there's a lot of liquidity in below those areas. And there's different kinds of liquidity. I mean, liquidity is liquidity, but there's different ways of measuring it. One way to measure it is on the Kingfisher, which we've done. And we have that line right there. And there's some liquidity around that too. You can see there's some little bits of it above that line, but the main concentration is where I put that line. If price were to dive down just to grab that liquidity, it would go to that line. And it would make sense because it's right below all these areas. And there's a lot of price action that actually ranged in this area as well. Look, you got this range right here, and that's right at the bottom of that range. Even this range right here is right in the middle of this little bit of ranging price action. So very likely price will do that if it dives down at all. It may not dive down at all, but understand that we are at some very sensitive areas with Bitcoin, and we can just line out the highs right here. Very easy to do. Any of these highs are going to matter, but especially this double top right here that occurred back in May and June, right? So the most recent and the most important area right now is going to be this double top of Bitcoin, which is right at about 72,000 there and there. That double top is going to create a lot of structure for kind of a similar reason, right? That we talked about with this ranging and all that price action stuff. So we might see price again get rejected at the top of 72 because after 72, there wasn't a whole lot of price action. Before there was, after there wasn't, right? If you look at this old price action, there's a lot of price action here. Below 72 are prices right now. But as soon as you go above that, there's not much, right? And when there wasn't a lot of price action, there really wasn't a lot to look at. And I could extend that same line back here. This double top even gets important back here, where you can see price kind of rejected right there, more or less here and here. So this area is pretty important. This line that we're at, 72,000, I'd say is more important than this 72.7. I'd almost ignore it, but I wouldn't. The 72.7. But the point here is that if price can pierce that and go up and break that all-time high, then that's what we call that blue sky breakout. Cool Cat, good morning. Good to have you back. I know you've been pretty busy lately, but I can tell you right now the algos are strong. So if more liquidity builds on the bottom, then we might see a price dive down and grab that. But right now, it's not a lot. It's not a lot of liquidity. Now, this is only on Binance, but there's about a $200 million cluster right there. And it's got to be profitable enough. And eventually, despite all these liquidations and liquidities, price may not go down and grab it. One of the things that we have to understand, at least from an algorithmic standpoint, is price has to want to go down in order to grab that. Usually when price is very bullish, it just doesn't go down. So it's not just because that liquidity is there, it doesn't mean price is going to go there. It's a combination of liquidity being there and price already wanting to go in that direction. And as it stands right now, the algos are simply bullish. On this swing trading time frame, you can see they're meeting a little bit of resistance. I appreciate that. Atlas Crypto, yeah, please smash the like. You see a little bit of resistance right here, okay? So as price is heading up, you can see that it's slowing down a little bit. So it could be that we do see price kind of, mess around here and reject and head down. That can happen. But as it stands right now, I don't see it happening. But you know what? That can change, and that can change really quickly. So we'll keep an eye on it. Please come over to algofactory.tech. Like Atlas said, smash the like, subscribe, all that stuff. Right-hand top corner, you see that QR code. You can zap that. It'll take you to algofactory.tech. We teach people how to trade. We teach people how to build trading systems. You don't have to know how to code or anything like that. And we have taken brand new people, taught them how to trade. We've taken other people who are experienced traders and given them the fundamentals they need to succeed. So a lot of people were miseducated. They are taught wrong, basically, about how to trade. And so they need some help. And we can get you fixed up real quick. Yeah, real quick. We're cheap. $49 a month. It's insane. I appreciate that, Atlas. Thanks again for the kind words. And we're going to flip over to the private live lab right now. Let me go ahead and make sure everything is set up for that. And by the way, with these public shows, you're welcome to, in the comments section, ask for charts. It's why I do these. If anybody wants to see a given chart, especially if you see it in the comment section, if you're watching this after the fact, you can still ask. You can just leave comments and say, hey, I want to see the gold chart or whatever it is. And we can go ahead and mark that out for you during the show. But I kept it about Bitcoin today because it does look like it's on the verge of a breakout and a pretty decent probability we're going to see a breakout. And also, don't forget, this is typical right now for price to begin its ascent. The election is the wild card. That happens in 7 days, I believe. So we got to watch out for that. Might be 8 days. But other than the election, as long as we don't see any insane stuff, and we very well could, then I expect this to break out in the next month. If not days. I mean, it could be days, it could be weeks, either way. All right. Thanks for watching. We're going to catch you on the flip side, algofactory.tech. Do not forget.
Join us or die.